Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am now back in the UK after about 4.5 months traveling Southeast Asia. I can't wait to get back out there, but for now I'm back saving up a little bit of money to get back out there as soon as possible. But today's video is actually about 15 things I wish I knew before going to Thailand. I spent around 3 months in Thailand this year and 3 months in Thailand the year before, so I have learned a lot. And these 15 things are things that I wish that I knew and that could help you on your travels. So just a bit of background, I actually spent time in Bangkok, Koh Samui and Phuket. All amazing places. Next time I do really want to do the north, but we didn't quite get around to it this time because of the seasons. But yeah, let's get into the video so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. So first thing is about renting a car. So we rented a car because we found it would be safer for us. A lot of people rent motorbikes, but people will rent motorbikes having never ridden a motorbike and would never ride one in their own country. So I do think you need to be really careful. Also, if you do rent a motorbike, you need to make sure that you wear a helmet. If you're a tourist, police will probably fine you if you're not wearing a helmet. So yeah, definitely wear one, also for safety, because there are so many crashes and things involving motorbikes. But anyway, in terms of renting a car, they probably will ask for your passport as a deposit. If you don't want to, then you can ask for a cash deposit instead, because sometimes leaving your passport can be a little bit risky. Secondly, make sure you take photos of everything. You do not want to be blamed for something that was already there and then charged for it, so you need to be really on it. Another thing that's really important when renting a car is to check that the car is actually insured and fully insured. So yeah, definitely double check that. Where to stay and how to find your accommodation. So we actually found booking.com to be the cheapest and had the best user interface, and it was really easy to kind of filter from price lowest to highest. You could see the ratings. We found that the best. A lot of people do mention Agoda. We did find that the annoying thing about Agoda is it would show you cheaper prices, but when you went out to the checkout, taxes were added on at that point, so then it would actually be more expensive. So that kind of was frustrating because you didn't really know the full price when you were searching. Number 3, where to get your SIM card. Do not get your SIM card at the airport. They will be more expensive. That is the worst place to get them in Thailand. So your options are, you can go to any, like most 7-Eleven stores, and you can get set up there. So that's what we did. It was around 300 Thai baht per month, and that was in like unlimited data, but I think it was around £6-7. But yeah, so you'll get a better deal. The 2 main providers in Thailand are AIS and True Mobile. We were with True Mobile and they were really good. You can also go to a True Mobile or AIS shop in a mall and they can also set you up. Oh, one thing not to forget, when you are getting a SIM card, you will need your passport. We made the mistake of forgetting to bring our passports with us and then having to go all the way back and then get our passports again. So yeah, you will need your passport. It can't just be a photo, it has to be the actual document. Now we've got transport. So in terms of like short journeys around different towns, it completely depends on where you are in Thailand. In Bangkok, you've got the SkyTrain, which is really good and convenient. It's about 44 baht a ticket, like depending on how far you're going. You can get a rabbit card and then top it up, or you can just get a ticket there and then at the kiosk. That is really good because Bangkok traffic is an absolute nightmare. Like the traffic in Bangkok is insane. So sometimes you can be stuck for literally so long. So the SkyTrain will help you beat the traffic. Really convenient, really easy to navigate. And if you don't know how to get somewhere, just ask the person at the kiosk and they will help you and tell you which lines you need to get. A good option in Bangkok is a Bolt taxi. We used Bolt over Grab in Bangkok because specifically in Bangkok we did find Bolt cheaper. Bolt is cash only though. Grab you can pay with your card. But yeah, we did find Bolt cheaper overall in Bangkok, so that's always good. We also found the apps better to use than either tuk-tuks or local taxis, because they, unfortunately, with local taxis or tuk-tuks, they do tend to scam you a little bit with the price. So yeah. On the islands, transport is not as easy. Koh Samui, your best option to get around would be a songthaw. So these songthaws, they're kind of like massive trucks, and they will go around the ring road of the island, and you kind of just flag them down. There's some all the time, so you'll just flag one down. You're best to negotiate the price at the start. so you know what you're going to be paying. These are a really great option. You just hop on and then you ring the bell when you want to get off and then you pay. They are cheaper than a taxi. The taxis in Koh Samui are actually quite pricey because it's an island, so yeah, transport is a little bit more limited. We tended to find that hiring a car was actually the cheapest option to get around. In Phuket, Grab was more accessible because Grab and Bolt were not a thing in Koh Samui, but there was Grab in Phuket, so we did tend to use Grab to get around in Phuket. But yeah, taxis on the islands in general, they were a little bit higher just because it is an island. In terms of like longer journeys, getting from different cities or parts of the country, we tended to use 12 Go Asia. 12 Go Asia kind of like tells you the best route to get like to different places. It's pretty cheap and it just makes everything easier. All the connections are guaranteed. Next, 7-Eleven will become your best friend in Thailand. The best thing about 7-Eleven is the cheap meals. Literally, like, they are so cheap and you can just get like a microwavable meal. They heat it up for you and then give it to you. There are toasties. Like, if you've been to Thailand, you will probably know the famous 7-Eleven ham and cheese toasties, which is a must try. You can get anything in there and it's so convenient. So yeah, 7-Eleven will become your best friend. You need to look out for those. Next, cash is king in Thailand. A lot of places will be cash only, especially like at night markets or, you know, like Bolt taxis, Songthors in Koh Samui. Most people will prefer to accept cash or may only accept cash, so you do need to have cash on you. The thing with Thailand is to bear in mind there is a 220 baht fee when you withdraw cash, so that's the equivalent to around £5-ish. So it isn't, you know, the cheapest thing to do to withdraw cash, so we would tend to try and take out, you know, quite a big chunk at a time. But yeah, just bear that in mind. It is 220 baht in Thailand for any foreign card. Another thing you should really know, especially if you're thinking of going to the north of Thailand, is the north of Thailand does have a burning season where the air quality is extremely poor because they have a burning season. This is basically where they burn the leftover crops and fertilize the soil. However, this does cause really bad air quality and really bad pollution. If you don't want to go to the north during that time, you want to avoid going between like January and April. There is a lot of smog, but one thing to note is January to April is the best season for the south, especially January and February down south. Next thing is a question I get asked a lot, and that is budgeting in Thailand and how much you expect to be spending. So it completely is personal. We didn't stay in hostels. Sometimes actually sharing a room would be cheaper than sharing in a hostel if you're with someone else. It depends on the place. Also, the north, you're going to get more for your money than the south because the south is a bit more expensive than the north. We budgeted about £10 to £15 for accommodation each, plus around £5 to £8 for food, and then obviously you've got like day trips and transport, so that could be another like maybe £10. How cheap you want things to be completely depends on yourself. Like, you can literally go to a market and get a whole meal for like £2, or you could go to a restaurant and it might be slightly more like £4 or £5. So, you know, you can make it as cheap as you want or a little bit pricier if you want, you know, a little bit more comfort. If you are a native English speaker, you can earn a little bit of pocket money when you're out there using a platform called Cambly, which is what I did. It doesn't pay a lot. It pays around just over $10 an hour. So it's not loads, but it does help get a bit of extra cash while you're out there and help sustain things. If you are looking to go to Asia or Thailand and want to stay out longer, or you just wouldn't mind having a little bit of extra pocket money to spend, you can literally use Cambly to have English conversations or lessons with students. You basically can either book students in and put your schedule in advance, or you can literally just go online, and by going online people will just call you at random, which is really good because with me, I didn't know what my days were going to be like. I didn't have much of a schedule, so if I had a bit of free time, I could literally just go online and I would have students call me who just wanted to have a chat in English, or sometimes there would be a preloaded lesson that you would go through the slides with them. So yeah, I do recommend that if you are wanting a bit of extra money when you're out traveling. And next is what you need to be aware of in terms of scams. Thailand is generally a really safe place. They have a Buddhist culture with Buddhist values. People don't tend to steal. People tend to be very, very nice and accommodating and kind. But you do have to be aware of some scams that do exist for tourists. And those mainly involve tuk-tuks and taxis. So in Bangkok, for example, you can have tuk-tuk scams where, you know, they might offer you a tour at a really, really low price, but then the tour will involve stopping at shops that you were kind of forced to buy something, and the shops that you stop at will be completely overpriced. Also, you could get tuk-tuks that will drive you out far away, and then the next minute you're in the middle of nowhere and they're getting you to, you know, pay an extortionate amount of money to take you back. Around the Grand Palace and some of the temples, you have people telling you that the temple is closed and they can take you somewhere else. Yeah, you could end up getting like heavily ripped off. So you just need to be aware of these things. If you're at a temple and someone is telling you it's closed and they will take you to another temple for a really cheap price, do not fall for it. I read about these scams before going, luckily, but they can be really easy to fall for and very convincing. And also, just in general with taxis, make sure that you kind of like know what the going rate is. So when to visit different parts of Thailand. So the main seasons are kind of like wet season and dry season. It can vary by a month or two on like every year, depending, like sometimes rainy season might start a month later or might start a little bit earlier, so it can vary. July onwards tends to be when rainy season starts. However, for Koh Samui, actually from July onwards, it was a good escape because it was still really nice. So in Koh Samui, the rainy season does start a little bit later, so more so around like September, October. General for Thailand, it does tend to be from July onwards. Rainy season, first few months will be like light, maybe just a couple showers. It won't be, you know, anything crazy, and then as you get further and further in later in the year, it does tend to get a little bit more heavy. But in general, during rainy season, it's still a great time to visit. You know, sometimes the showers come and then they go within 5 minutes, and then from November, the hot season tends to start. It might still be a little bit rainy because it's just coming out of rainy season, but in general, November tends to be when the weather starts to improve. You've got December, January, February, which are really peak months. But actually, Koh Samui, you know, doesn't actually have as much of a rainy season as the rest of Thailand. In Koh Samui, the rainy season is kind of more September, October, November, December. It starts to get a little bit better. Koh Samui's location is quite good as it does have, you know, mostly nice weather throughout most of the year. Right, and we have got visa. So you can enter Thailand visa free for 30 days. If you do want to extend, you can go to the immigration office and extend. I wouldn't recommend doing it too close to the day that your visa is going to expire because there can be queues. You may have to end up going back the next day. Some immigration centers can be a bit funny if you do it too close to the time, so I'd recommend doing it at least a week or two before your visa expires. So when you go and extend your visa, you will need your passport, you will need 1 or 2 passport photos, and photocopies of your visa stamp and passport. And then it's around 1,900 to 2,000 baht. So yeah, you can extend your visa that way. We didn't actually do that. We applied for a tourist visa in advance, which was 2 months, and that costs around like £30. I'll double check. And for the tourist visa, you do it online. And then, so what we did is we stayed 2 months, and then before the 2 months was over, we extended for another 30 days at the immigration office. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Also, for travel insurance, the actual best deal we found was with Safety Wing. We have had lots of people who have used them and had really good experiences. It's a monthly payment. I think it's around 30 something pound a month or 40 pound a month, and you can stop it at any point. Also, in terms of the water, the tap water in Thailand is like, obviously you can't drink it, but it was fine for brushing teeth. I know in Bali it's a little bit different. In Bali you might not want to use the tap water to brush your teeth, but in Thailand the tap water isn't that bad to the point that you can't use it to brush your teeth. You just kind of wouldn't drink it. And next, if you are visiting a temple, you do need to make sure that you kind of have some like long trousers and you're covering your shoulders. I had some of those elephant pants actually, which were really handy for temples because they're so light and comfortable. So yeah, do bear that in mind if you're going to temples. And finally, it's custom to remove your shoes before going into the house or going into like a sacred place. So do make sure that you're respectful and take your shoes off. Okay, so that is everything for this video, everything you need to know, all the things that I think will really help you guys on your travels. Thailand is a super great place for solo travelers because it is actually very safe. I felt safer in Thailand walking around than I do in most European cities. You will have an amazing time. So I really hope this video helps. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me keep creating content if you do subscribe, and I cannot wait to share more videos with you and get back to Asia and show you some more travel vlogs. Okay, thank you.